Welcome. So my name is Titi Omoli, and I am the CEO of Course for Children Limited. Thank you so much for joining us. This is one of 3 lessons of exploring the coding space. It's been brought to you by Course for Children Limited. Course for Children Limited is a not-for-profit organization, and our mission is to continue to empower our young people, our youth, to thrive. And we do this in different ways. We have initiatives like this one, which is a training or sometimes workshops free on different things. We had a fantastic time last year during COVID. Some of those videos can be found on our website, www.courseforchildren.com. We also have an award ceremony, which is called 3 Little Hero Awards. And that's one we use. 3 Little Hero Awards is to celebrate efforts and achievement of young people that are doing amazing things. So we opened that up in June. So be on the lookout for that. If you know a young person that is doing very well in what they're doing, yeah, so look out for that sometime in June. Before we go ahead, let me just tell you a little bit about our ground rules today. So our ground rule is that you mute your microphone while you're here. If you have to speak, please raise your hand up and someone will unmute you. Or if you're asked to unmute yourself, your name is being called to unmute yourself, please unmute. And once you have answered or ask your question, please mute yourself back. It's just so that we can all have an amazing experience today. I would ask that you switch off your camera if you do not want anyone to see your face, because we will be recording these classes and it will be going on our website. So if you don't want to be seen, then please mute your camera. Or if you know you are somewhere that the background, you wouldn't want anyone to see that your background, then please mute your camera. Otherwise, feel free to unmute your camera. If you have any question, or if you want to participate, you want to write an answer, you want to make your contribution, put it in the chat box. That's where the facilitator will be looking straight into those chat boxes, will be commenting based on what you put in there. And if she wants you to say one thing or the other, she can either call out your name or you can raise your hand and we'll unmute you and you speak. May I ask that you please respect each other by speaking politely, and please, whatever you're putting into the chat box, please be polite when you're doing that. We have the right to take anyone that is demonstrating appropriate behavior out of the group. If you have any comments, please send it to courseforchildrenlimited@gmail.com. That's our email there, courseforchildrenlimited@gmail.com. And let the subject be the title of this workshop, which is Exploring the Coding Space, and you can say session number 1, so that we know that your question is with regards to this first lesson. Remember, we're having 3 lessons. We intend to spend 2 hours or 2.5 hours max, so we should be here till about 2:30. Okay, a little bit about us. I know I've spoken a little bit about us. Again, just a reminder of who we are. We are Course for Children Limited, and I am Titi Omoli. I'm the CEO. Course for Children Limited, we're not for profit, and our mission is to continue to empower youth to thrive. We do this with our workshop, our training, and we also have a 3 Little Hero Awards. And that's me there in blue, giving a handshake or receiving a handshake. We've had amazing people in the society that have been part of this event. So watch out. In June, we'll be sending out announcement for you to nominate a young person. You can nominate yourself, or if you have a friend, daughter, whoever it is, your teacher can nominate you, your coach can do that for you. And then we would have the celebration sometime in November. Okay, so enough about me, and we're going to get on to the business of today. And I will be handing you over to your facilitator today, and that is Miss Stephanie Itimi. Over to you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much for the introduction. So hello, everyone. Welcome to our session today, which is going to be on game design. So before I start, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about me. So I'm a digital entrepreneur, which means that I run businesses online. So I'm currently the founder of Cydia, which is a career development platform where I help women from Black and minority ethnic backgrounds to build cybersecurity careers and to enter the industry. I also have a luxury postcard company with a focus on West African art. And outside of that, I'm currently doing my PhD at Royal Holloway, studying information security or cybersecurity. Previous to this, I've worked in places like BBC Africa, for the UK government, European Commission, and UN Women. And I'm super excited today because we're going to be looking at storytelling, but also looking at game design. And I've seen on the chat that some people might be having issues with actually going on the Google CS platform. So don't worry, we're going to go through it during today's session. So for today's agenda, we're going to be doing a couple of things. We can't do all class introductions, so I'm going to put in the next page a Slido account, which I want people to go to give feedback and to put your name there. We're going to be discussing about computer science, the Scratch and block-based programming platform that we'll be using for this session. And then also action time, which you'll be looking at on the Google CS platform when you actually log in. You have some time for a presentation. We may not have enough time because there are so many people in this call today. So you will have a session to kind of send that to me after this call via email. And also there'll be a homework for you to look at how you can do racing games as your homework. So I'm really, really excited for all those things. We're going to be having a 5 minutes break at 1 p.m. And after that, it's just for you to tell me if you're having any issues, if you do want to present your work, and maybe allow maybe 1 or 2 people to do that. And then feel free as well throughout the session, if you're having issues, to let me know via chat. So we're going to really start with computer science. What is computer science? I want people to let me know what you think it is. There's no, wrong or right answer. I just want to see everyone's thoughts and perspective on it. If you could put it on the chat on what you think computer science is for the next 1 minute. So what do we think computer science is, or what can you do on the computer? I think that might be a more interesting question. What do you think you can do with a computer? What can you create? So someone said designing new software. Yes, you can design new software. What else? What do we think we can design? What can you imagine you can do? Make websites. Okay. Yes, you can make websites. Programming. Yes, you can program. Animation, designing apps. Okay. Yes, we can do so many things with computer science. So I'm going to go on to the next page, which is, so computer science is a tool that helps you tell a story or to make something happen. And you can also design problems or solve problems. So a lot of people talked about games and programming and creating apps, and this is all about problem solving. But it can also allow you to have a explorer mindset where you're creating things, you're solving real world problems. But one thing I will say that people tend to confuse computer science is, some people think computer science is about learning how to type. It's more than that. It's more than a Microsoft Word. You don't have to repair computers. That's not what computer science is about. You can play video games, but we're going to be talking about how do you create games. So that's what we're going to be doing on this session. So why computer science? And that's because computer science allows you to tell your stories visually. We're all imaginative people. You guys have kind of talked about the many things you can do with computers, and computer science allows you to put that image you have in your head and that vision on paper. with the computer. So you can put your ideas visually, and that's what computer science is about. You can also design, you can build your own video games. You know, you can design, like if you're into football, you can do football games. If you're into fashion, you can do fashion games. Whatever you're into, you can make it a game. And you can think about real life games that you might play with your friends and seeing how you can then put that in on a computer. So now we're going to be going to the session about you, and I want everyone to go to slido.com. So slido.com. And then the code that we'll be using for this session is #CodeSpace. So we're going to be spending about 1 minute on this, and then we'll come back. So I just want everyone to do that for 1 minute, and then we'll continue. If anyone's having any issues, feel free to put it in the chat, but it allows us to have like a quick survey about who's in this session, and then we run from there.
So are we going to use Scratch?
Yes, we're going to be using Scratch for this session. Have you used Scratch before?
Yes, I've done Scratch before.
We're going to be using Scratch for this session.
Hi, sorry. What code do we have to use? Oh, CodeSpace.
Yes, CodeSpace is the thing that you have to enter. So when you go to slido.com.
Yeah, sorry. I'm looking over my daughter's shoulder and wasn't paying attention. Thank you.
No worries. Is anyone having troubles? Please let us know. Yeah, so it's a questionnaire for you to fill in. So we'll wait till 12:15 and then we'll move on with the session. But is everyone okay with the Slido? Okay, so David said he's not. So what's the issue, David? So the login on the page that I'm sharing the screen is slido.com. And then when you go there, you type in the code CodeSpace. Okay, so due to time.
Is it just one question, how old we are?
Yes, it's a question about your age and gender, I believe.
Okay, we're done. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to be moving on now. Thank you everyone for filling in the survey. So, you know, why computer science? And that's because you can create art, uni dance. Like I said, you can create so many things. One thing I do want to adhere to, because we are using a Google platform, and for this club we have 5 ethos, and I'll be asking people questions about the ethos every session that we start. So what I want from you guys is I want you to have the courage to try new things. We're going to be testing out new, for some people it might be a new platform. For some people it might be a platform that they already know. I want you to have confidence in using technology. There is no right or wrong way. If you make a mistake, you learn. And perseverance, when facing difficulty and facing challenges, don't just give up, try again. I'm here if you have any questions that you want to ask or you're having any issues. I also have the answers to the work that we're going to be doing today. So don't feel like you're alone in this. I'm here to help you out. Also impacting community. If you feel like whatever you want to create, you might think about how it might impact your community, your environment, your surroundings. And this is a family. So I'm expecting everyone to be respectful and encouraging of everyone else. So that is our class ethos: courage, confidence, perseverance, impact, and a sense of belonging. So we're going to be using Scratch. For some people, this might be a new concept. For some, it might not. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the platform that we're going to be using today. This might also be good for the parents as well. So we're going to be using Scratch, which is a block-based programming. So in real life, we use a set of codes in HTML. However, using Scratch, you use blocks to give directions for what you want to happen or what you want to take place. So Scratch is a free block-based programming tool that was developed by MIT, which is a university in the US. It is ideal for beginners who want to learn how to code and you snap different blocks of commands together that would create the actions in which a computer can carry out. Okay, I've already seen that someone said I made an Undertale game on Scratch once. Yes, Scratch is an amazing tool. There are so many things that you can do on it. So what would you be learning with this session? So we have 3 weeks. For the first week, we're going to be looking at game story. So I want you guys to think about your favorite games that you like to play, and I want you to talk about it. So you're going to create a character. What is the character going to be like? What does the character like doing? What type of game is it? Think about your favorite games that you like to play on a daily basis. You might want to start by writing the character, the storyline, and then that would help you create your own game story that we're going to do today. Your homework that I'm going to be giving you is racing game. So you guys are going to be creating your own racing game on the platform. And luckily, we're going to be using the Google platform, which gives you a set of videos as well, so that you can learn those at home. And I will then be giving people the answers to the homework as well on Saturday, not on Saturday, on Friday, so a day before the session, just to see how you guys did and if you need any extra help. Week 2, we're going to be working on an escape game. So if you think about Conquest, those type of games, that's what we're going to be focusing on the workshop. And then for the homework, we're going to be doing Quest game. And then for workshop 3, we're going to be having a cave surfing game, and we're going to be having our graduation where those who complete the different series of videos will then get a Google certificate. And to get your certificate, please, if you haven't already, send me your username and your name as well, so I know which name is attached to which username, and I can track your progress and then give you your certificate once you fulfill the conditions. Also, we'll be having a special guest from the gaming industry coming to speak to you about their experience. And you can ask them any question you want about what it's like to be working in the gaming industry, whether you're developing games or making games or selling games. So what does that look like if you do want to work in the gaming industry? So that is going to be our gaming session designed for this 3 weeks. So I know a couple of people said that they haven't been able to get on the Google CS first. So we're going to quickly go through it. So if you haven't already, please go to g.co/cs first. And I will do a version of how you can do this online as well. Okay. So when you click on that link, so csfirst.withgoogle.com, or you can use this code. Some people might have issues using the Google Chrome or the platform, whatever Explorer you're using. So if you are using that, you might want to change. So I'm going to stop sharing for the meantime. And then I will put what it looks like on the computer, on the internet. And you don't have to use a computer. If you're using it from a different platform, you can still get the certificate. If anything, we're looking for effort. So when you click on that, you will see the Google CS First, like you're seeing on my screen. I want you to then click on sign in. Then when you click on the sign in option, you have either just I'm a student or I'm a teacher. So I'm going to click on I'm a student. Then you want to click on sign in with CS First. When you then click on that, you then put the class code. So this is a class code, and I'm going to put it on the chat as well that I want you to use.
So this will take us to Scratch, or this will take us to...
And then you would see enter your username or password. Now, for those of you who hasn't registered yet, you click on the bottom here. So don't have a username or password, click on create account. Now, when you click on the create an account, you then click I understand, and then you click on create an account. When you do that, it will then give you a username and password. So the
Sorry, please. What's the geocode again?
computer science, choose a character, tell a story. And it's also linked to the Scratch. So it allows you to then create your own gaming story on Scratch. And then you can come back and then we'll talk about how you found it on Scratch. So is everyone, I remember I said to people, sorry, whoever is saying that, or whoever is having an issue with their username and password, they should put I'm having a problem, and then I'll be able to see how I can generate one for you. But your username and password will be generated automatically, and then you'll be able to sign from there. Now,
Sorry,
yeah,
do we have to...
let me know. I think I have an eye on who might be having problem before, but if you can put it on the chat, then I know who I can generate a name and a password for you to begin using the platform. Any questions before we start? And for you to start working on your game story. Yes, you send your username by email. Okay, those who are having issues with their platform and username and password, please put it in the chat now so I can start generating usernames for you. This is what you then see, which is the game design. So we'll start with the Google CS survey. I know someone said that they were having issues with that. If you are having issues with the survey, you can skip it.
Welcome to Google CS First. Before getting started, take the brief survey below this video. You may have answered some of these questions before in a previous CS First club, but go ahead and answer them again so that we can have your most recent thoughts and opinions.
So in this one with the survey, it asks you a couple of questions, such as like, you know, when you get stuck with a problem, what do you do? And this is so that Google has an understanding of your learning style. Now, once you've done this, you then click on submit. And then we then go into questions we've already discussed, which is what is computer science? But there's a Google video.
Hey, and welcome Welcome to CS First Game Design. I'm Taylor, and I'll be leading you through a computer science exploration over the next 8 days of this club. Today, you'll learn what computer science is, see the games you'll make in this club, and have an opportunity to make your very first computer program in the CS First Club. CS First Game Design is a computer science club. Computer science uses computers to make amazing projects, also called programs, that allow people to play, entertain, solve problems, do work, and save time. In this club, you'll learn all the different ways computer science relates to things you do and see every day. You might be surprised. In this club, the projects you will build involve creating video games. However, computer science allows people to build all types of projects and solve many types of problems, from creating a cell phone app that sends text messages to finding cures for diseases. Over the next 8 club sessions, you'll be introduced to some of the incredible creations people build and problems people solve using computer science. You will also learn how to use computer science to create your own games and applications. When this club ends, you will have a portfolio of your own video game creations and will have developed a basic understanding of many computer science concepts. Take a look at these games that you'll have a chance to build over the next 8 club sessions.
So after that video, if you want to go into Scratch, there under the links over here, you have your Activity 1 starter project. If you click on that, it should then take you to a Scratch for Google CS First. This one on the game and story, at the top here, you have the option to rename your game. So I'm going to rename mine Princess Club. No, you're not going too fast. For those who are asking about how you can generate your username and password, I would say refer back to the instruction sheets that was sent. I have been through the process many times. If it doesn't work in the first Explorer, feel free to use the other one. So for activity 2, like I said, instructions is
Can you show
what you guys have done. So now for the different animation, you have your main character here, which is like an Android character, or you can choose a different person if you want. So let's say I want a new character. I go on here, which is choose sprite. So let's say I want a princess. So now I've put that I want a princess here, and I'm then removing this character using this button here to delete that character. And now I have a princess. So I believe for activity 1, what they want you to do, let me play the video again.
That tells a story using Scratch. You will start your story by answering one of these questions. What game character is most like you and why? What do you like about your favorite game or app? Do you think kids should play more or fewer video games? Why? This video will introduce how to open a starter project. Watch this video to learn how, then try it on your own. You will start. What do you?
So the question we're going to try and answer using our main character is, what game character is most like you and why? So I want you to think about your favorite game and who is your favorite character and how they most like you. So if I go back now, I've chosen a princess as my main character. So that's my princess. And let's say I now want my princess to do a couple of actions. So I've clicked on her. And then these are the different things that you can use. So I want my character to speak. So I'm going to be using at looks, because with looks, I can create stuff for my character to, think about. So let's say I want to ask the question that was posed in Google platform. So what game character is most like you and why? So I will type, instead of like hello, I'll be like, what game character is most like you and why? And then let's say I'm now thinking about it. I will then use the think, button. And let's say it might take about 3 seconds to ask the question, what game character you most like and why. And then you can answer it by using another one. Saying for me, oh, deleted that by mistake.
So is this the choose a character?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you see how I chose the character?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have to make a Scratch account with a picture CS first? Or
On the block, it does automatically what I've just done. And that's basically what they want you to do for activity 2. So really and truly, you shouldn't spend too much time on activity 2. It should look something like this. So now we're going to go on to activity 3.
In today's activity, you will use computer science to tell a story that answers one of these questions or prompts. What game character is most like you and why? What do you like about your favorite game or app? And do you think kids should play more or fewer video games? Why? Think about the 3 prompts and choose one to use for your project. Do you have the same color hair or personality as a video game character? What do you want others to know about your favorite game or game character? Choose a question that inspires you. Your Scratch Starter project contains a sprite named Android. This is the character that will tell your story. To choose the appearance of your Android, click on the Android sprite, click the Costumes tab, and click to choose a costume from the list. Now it's your turn. Choose a story prompt. Click on the Android sprite and choose an appearance for your sprite. Once you've done this, click the CS First tab, then the arrow under this video to move on to the next video.
Okay, so for this section, it's for you to write your own story. So like we're saying today, it's all about game story. So think about if you're explaining what your favorite game is to a friend, how would you do that? So the 3 prompts they want you to look at is what type of game character, is most likely and why, which is what we tackled in the first one. So like for me, I chose a princess because I feel like the character that's most like me is Princess Peach. But for you, it might be different. I saw someone put Sonic on the chat, so you might like Sonic, and maybe that's the character that's most like you. And then for others, it might be different as well. So think about who's your favorite game character that looks most like you and why. And remember with how we did the sprite, think about what that character looks like. What hair do they have? It could be even skin tone. It could be what are they wearing? And then think about why is this your favorite game? So what you want to do is you want to create a dialogue. So I'm going to go back to the session again, and then we're going to develop the story a little bit more on me explaining the story of what my favorite game is and why. And the last question they want you to think about is, why do you think kids should play more video games or fewer video games and why? So let's say like Sonic and Friends, or let's say Angry Bird is your favorite character. And that's because let's say you like birds and you think birds, they can fly anywhere, they can go where they want to go. They don't have to think about transport, and that's why that's like your favorite character, because you like traveling as well. And then you could say it's good because it allows you to think, it allows you to do a lot of problem solving, and that's why you think more kids should play more of few video games. So it's for you to think about a story that you're going to tell to a friend as to what your favorite video game is, and why you resonate with that character a lot, why that character is just like you, or what you like about that character. And with that, once you've watched that video, it's for you to then go to activity 4, which is tell a story.
In this video, you will learn how to make the sprite talk about the prompt you selected. To make the Android talk or move, add code to the scripts editor for the Android sprite. Click on the Android in the Looks menu. Drag out a Save for 2 seconds block. Click the block to test it. Awesome, the Android says hello. Click inside the white space in the Save for 2 seconds block. The text hello automatically highlights. Think about the story prompt you chose and type in a sentence that starts to answer that question. This example starts with, the game character most like me is Yoshi. Your sentence might start with, my favorite game is, or I think kids should play fewer video games because. Write a sentence that makes sense for the prompt you selected. Drag out another Save for 2 seconds block and move it under the first block until it snaps into place. Change the text in the second block to the next sentence for your story. Click the entire stack of blocks to try it out in your program. Great! The Android says the text in the first block, then says the text in the second block. Computer scientists like you test their code often as they build it, so they can find and fix unexpected behaviors as soon as possible. Try your code often as you build. Add more save blocks to the stack to tell your full story. When you have a story you like, make it easy for users of your program to start your story when they click the flag. Click the Events menu and drag a When Flag Clicked block to the top of the stack. Now, the user can start your program by clicking the green flag at the top of your project. Try it out.
Okay.
Great. The story begins when the flag is clicked. Explore the up.
Okay, so the story begins when the flag is clicked. So I know someone asked whether you can create any game character. You can. So let's say I want to change my character from the princess to someone else. And what I'll then do in this case is, let's say I delete this prompt and I want to start a whole new, completely different character. I will then delete the princess or the android. And then I will click here on choosing a new sprite. So this is how you can change your character. So when you click on this cat emoji here, you click on search. And then you can click on a new character. So maybe this time I want to be a ballerina, or let's say I want to be a fairy this time. So I've chosen a fairy. Now remember the prompts that we discussed in the story. So the prompts that we have in the story is, go back to it.
So we need two sprites to talk to each other.
We haven't gotten there yet, but if you are advanced, you can have two sprites to talk to each other, or you have two different characters. But this one, it's a one-person narration or first-person narration, so it's you telling somebody else what your favorite game is, or which character is most like you. So as I'm clicking on this character, as you can see, there is a faded version of my character here. This means I'm now clicking on, or the actions I'm going to be creating is going to be affecting this specific character. So I can start saying, hello, my name is Steph. And then I can add another, actually, instead of we can try, okay, my favorite, or the character that, the game character that is most like me is a fairy because she has wings and can travel. I love traveling. Also.
Excuse me?
So with that, I can say that for, oh, let me go back. For this one, I want.
What was the class code again? I'm trying to sign Fikayo back in.
The class code should be on the instruction manual that was given yesterday. If it doesn't work in uppercase, feel free to do it lowercase.
Hi, can we ask a question, please?
Yes, feel free.
we're trying to find out where you are. We've gone through the videos, but we can't see where you are so that we can do stuff in parallel.
Oh yeah, so when I click activity 4, it talks about changing the costumes of your characters. Go back to 4. So if you click on costumes, so like here's your code, but if you click on costumes, it allows you to see fairy B, C, and like different versions of your character. And as you can see, they all have different emotions. So when you're thinking about your stories, think about your emotions on when you talk about your favorite character. So like for me, I'm going to be using Fairy B because I'm talking about her flying and traveling. And then I'm going to show how you're able to change your character with the code. So with me saying, hello, my name is Steph. The fairy character is most like me. Let me make that smaller so that it's much easier for you guys to see it. Okay, I could just put it's like me because she likes to travel. And then maybe because I want to show the emotions, I'm then going to click on change costume to Fairy B, which is her flying.
Excuse me? As I go into Scratch.
And how do I?
And like the first fairy, so when you have like your character, you click on costumes and you can decide which part of your character you like or you want to start with. So like for me, I'm starting with A, which is just my fairy smiling. And that would be my base character. So my base code is the fairy just smiling. Now, when I say, hello, my name is Steph, the fairy character is like me because she likes to travel. I then did a code on switch costume to Fairy B. Now, remember Fairy B is like her flying, which is why I chose that specific one. But like I said, with the costumes, you can choose the different emotions. And then if you have more time and you're more advanced, you can then do sounds. You can change the backdrop. It's really up to you. So now with my code, so you literally just saw what happened. I'm going to remove the button for me because I don't want that there. I just want to show you my character. And then maybe I want to change the backdrop, right? So I then think about, okay, what type of backdrop do I want? So remember this is Sprite, which is a cat. Now the picture here is the backdrop. So let's say you want to have a background for your character. You can then choose where you want your character background to be. It could be a Jurassic Park, it could be mountains, mural, a neon tile, anything you're interested. Because I like the whole princess stories and fairies, I'm going to choose a colorful city. And then I'm going to put my character here. So because I want the background to change, I'm going to switch my background first and then put my costume after. So my background is now going to be colorful city. And the costume is now going to be Fairy B. But for my main character, always look at where your fairy is at the bottom because that tells you what your base code is. Now my base code is now Fairy B, which is not what I want. I want it to be Fairy A. So I'm going to go back to costumes and click on Fairy A to make that now my base character. So that when I then click on the code and it does switch costume to Fairy B, it will change from Fairy A to Fairy B. So I'll click on my code here. Maybe I will change this to 3 seconds to have more time. And then I might make this a little bit bigger.
Sorry, how do you make your background, your base background white? Because as soon as I switched my background, it switched to the theatre, so now I can't go back to white.
Okay, so you want.
So your code will not.
When I talk about my ferry, but if you want your backdrop to be your main background, then you click on it and then this becomes your base. Does that make sense more for you?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm gonna try and look at the chat for any more questions. Adriela, do you have a question? Sorry if I missed you. So if your thing is saved, so like, you know, here it says Princess Club for Gaming Story, I'll be able to see it. But if you want to send me a link of what you've done, you can forward it to me via email as well.
So how do we save it? Oh, in the corner.
So if you want to save it, you click on File and click Save Now.
Okay.
It should be linked to your Google CS first. So like for me, if I go to Activity 2, I should now see my project as Princess Clubs, which is what I saved mine as. If Ezino, you had a question? So now for those who missed the backdrop one, this is choose a sprite for this one, and then this is choose the backdrop for this one. So now when you click the backdrop, you can then change it to whatever one you want it to be. I'm conscious of time, so in 2 minutes, we're going to take a 5 minutes break.
How do you save it again?
So if you go to File, you can click on Save Now. Or you can also click on Save to your computer if you want to. But I'll say Save Now, and it should be saved. Do you want to put your audio on so I know what it is? Or do you want me just to go through the backdrop again? Remember, if you want to make your backdrop base, if you go to backdrop, you can have this as like your main one. Or you can change it to number 2, which shows your new backdrop. If you want to create a backdrop, you can choose one here. So let's say I want to have like 2 different backdrops, right? And let's say that this is what I want as my base. So I click on, let me show you. I click on the stage and I click on backdrop 3. And I go to backdrops, and then bedroom 1 now becomes my base. Now with the code, for my ferry, oh, I see what I did. I need to change that to Colorful City. All right, so I'll change it to Colorful City, and it means that your theme might change. So I have to then go back again to stage, make sure my base is at bedroom, go back to my code, click on the sprite ferry at the bottom, make sure that when the backdrop is switched, it's to Colorful City. So now when I click on this, hello, my name is Steph, the fairy character is like me because she likes to travel. And then as you see, the fairy is now in a flying position in a different place. So that's how you can have 2 different backdrops as well. Okay. So we're now going to have a quick 5 minutes break. And then I'm expecting everyone to come back at 1:26 for us to then continue. Can everyone see my screen at the moment? Let me know in the chat. Okay, great. So this is what your code should look like. So first, remember what I talked about choosing your character. So to choose your character is you choose on the sprite. If you don't want to change your character and you want to use the character that they gave you, which was the Android sprite, you then click on the costume area, and that would allow you to change the different costumes of your character. But if you want a new character, it's for you to click on the sprite button, select one that suits, the game character that you like the most. But also you can change that character based on costumes, because each character would have about 4, some even have 5, 6, 7 different costumes, and you can select from there which one resonates with you the most. So remember, with these things as well, like I said, you have to think about your story prompt. So today our story prompt was, which game character do we like the most and why? So in this workshop, we might have different prompts, but always think about your story. What do you want your character to look like? What do you want your character to say? And what type of emotions you want to evoke from your character? Because with the different costumes, you can also change the emotions of it as well. So now telling the story. So actually, thank you to Laxria, because she actually highlighted something I should have done. So sorry for that. Is to always have the yellow one with the green icon. So when you say when clicked, I was kind of doing it the manual way. But no, the automatic way is when you have the yellow when the green button is clicked, because this means that it's automated. So like when you think about a website and you click on a button, let's say you go on Google and you want to search and you click on search, it does all these things for you. Similar to the green button, when you click on it, it then activates your code and makes sure that your commands that you've put actually do work. So for me, I changed mine. Google said, if an example you can use is, say your character, the character most like me is Yoshi. Yoshi has lots of, is energetic and adventurous, just like me, trustworthy, and Yoshi and I love to jump. But obviously, with mine, what I used was princess, because I felt like, she's reminds me of Princess Peach, and she likes to travel. So think about, these sections as well, like what your story and how do you answer those prompts that were given to you in regards to telling your story. Now, we didn't get to go into this place. I think we did a bit with like changing of the costumes, but if you want to do a little add-on, like you want your character to flicker, you can then put the green button again, but you choose on the transition. So if you realize the starter project should have like a transition button, when you click on that, you then put the purple show, then you have like a repeat, and the repeat allows it to do the same command over and over again. So you're able to create that flickering effect because you can fade in and fade out. So I'll see if I can send this to you as well, so that you can kind of have that as a way of, if you want to work on it more after this workshop, you can do that to kind of test new things out. So that's how you can create you create your own costume. So you can kind of create your own character, and this is you personalizing your Android, which is basically your sprite, your character. You can change the color, you can add shapes to make it different. So an example here is how you can create a dog using different shapes. So that's something that you can do as well. And then this is called a vector character. So that's you creating your own character rather than the sprite that is given to you or the characters that is available in the Scratch catalog. So I'm just making sure that I'm not going too fast. And then the next add-on is a bitmap character. So, when you go to costumes as well, you can click on paint and zoom. So you can make your character grow. It could be small or it could be big. So you can choose the size of your character. This is either in your vector characters or whatever character they give you. You can make your character really tiny. So let's say you're having two different characters and you want one of your characters to be very tiny. On the costume tab, and then if you click on paints, you can then reduce the size of the character to either make it very big or very small as well. And then this is called Bitmap Characters. And then the third add-on is sound. So I think the first person, Laxia, who did hers, added sound. So sound is that, remember, if we go back to the tabs, yes. So here, you know, when you have the three different tabs, you have code, you have costume, but you also have sound. Now, if you want to add sound, you then can choose like the different sounds that they have on their platform or their catalog. And this allows you to choose your different music that you want to play in the background. So let's say you want, you know, one music played, you know, over and over again. There's a way you do it. You wouldn't choose the one that says play sound until it's done. You probably would choose the repetitive. So, you know, here when it says click on that and forever, that forever allows that sound to continuously play. So it doesn't stop. But if you just want your sound just to, you know, play for 2 seconds, 5 seconds, and that's it, then you choose this one, just play sound until it's done. But if you want your sound to be forever, which means that it's continuously playing, then you click on the forever tab, which is one of the, if we think about the colors, the orange tab at the left side, and then you choose forever, and then you then link in play sound, and you choose your sound you want to play in the background. So now we're going to be talking about homework. But before I go to homework, does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. How can we get the sound?
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go to the platform to show you how it works. Escape here. Okay, so this is sounds. But let's say I don't want magical spell. I want something new. So you see at the bottom here, it says choose a sound. So there are different sounds that are here. So you could have like animals, you could have, you know, loops where you have like different sounds.
Okay, I've seen it. Thank you.
Okay, so this is how you can choose your sounds. And then with repetition and flicker and stuff, if you go to control, you can have repeats where it repeats that same thing for 10 times, 1 time, how many times you want, or if you just want it to keep going, then you can choose the forever, and then you can then click on the sound here. So this is the sound button. And because right now I only have magical spell added to my thing, that's what's giving me. But if I want that separate from this one, what I then would do is I'll go to events and I'll go to click on when this is clicked. So, let me put it. So it means that it keeps playing in the background. So you can separate it just as long as this is at the top. It automates all those actions to happen at the same time when the green button is clicked. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
No worries. Did anyone have any more questions? Or anything they want me to go over again? Momo, do you have a question? Do you want to speak or do you want to put it in the chat? One more, Sina? So I'm seeing two different things. So Sina Atanda, do you have a question you want me to answer? And then I'm going to go to Adi Boye to share theirs. Question. Adeboye, do you want to share your screen? Actually, wait, sorry, pause for a second. I'm doing a two people having a conversation, but don't know how to let a person change the other person or let them speak. Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen and quickly to present your work, and then I will work in the background to answer your question, Memo. Great job, great job, great job.
Please can I share mine?
Yeah, sure, feel free to share yours. Great job. Great job. Okay, so now I'm going to, great job, Morphine. And yes, the websites will be recorded at the, and then sent and put on the website for Cause for Children. Okay. Let me now share my screen. All right, so let me add another character. Add Abby. Don't know what's going on with Abby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's happening from my side, but what I will do, slide. Okay. So homework time. First of all, congratulations to everyone for working hard on this, even though wherever you got up to, it doesn't matter. The fact that you made an effort is what counts. Obviously, although this ends at 2 p.m., you can still work on it using the Google videos after this call. What I will say is for the homework, I'll definitely add the points of issues that people talked about. And yes, for the homework for lesson 1 is going to be for you to go through activity 2, which is creating a racing game. So you're going to do exactly what we're doing now, but you think about cars and like, you know, bikes and things that can race with each other. Have fun with it. It doesn't have to be cars. It can be, you can be imaginative as you want. Think also about what we discussed about how you can also edit your sprite and make it more colorful, or, you know, add to it or make a drawing if you're artistic. And after that, you know, there's a lot of us, so I don't think we'll be doing presentation of everybody, but I'll make sure that at least 5 people get to present the work that they've done for the homework. Also, please do send me a link to the work that you've done so I can see what you've done for homework if you want to as well. It's also good to write down questions that you may have, during the week. You can send it to Course for Children. And also it allows me know like how I can update the homework solutions so that, it's helpful for you as well in your learning. So that's what we're going to be doing for homework for lesson 1. You're going to be looking at activities. So think about racing games. I remember think about what they look like, what you want it to be, what the storyline would be also. So that would be our homework. And finally, in the last 10 minutes or so, is for you to go to slido.com and to send your comments and feedback. I know we've had many issues with this call, so it'll be very helpful for me and also for Course for Children to kind of see how we can make this session better as well for you, so that the next workshop will be a lot better than this one. So please do send your comments and feedback, how you want us to improve, so we can work on it, and any particular issues as well that you've seen as well. So I believe we'll be taking 5 minutes to do this.
Yes, and thank you very, very much, Steph. I believe I've had a lovely time trying to follow, although I know I'm probably one of the ones that would take my time after this session is over and go through it again. But I just want to thank everyone that joined in today. I know some people, they're having an issue, they're having one issue or the other with their devices or connection. What I would advise is for you to try and check your email address, for instructions, and try to join. Try to open an account on CS first. And if you're having any problem, please send your email to hello@saidi.com, I think. Stephanie can put the email there so she can respond to you on how best to address that issue. But please fill the feedback form on slido.com that we've asked you to please do. We just want to know your honest opinion because your feedback, they're very important to us. We will use that to plan our future workshop, and that's how we've been planning our workshops anyway. So thank you very, very much. If you would like to present next week, send an email to courseforchildren@gmail.com. Course for Children Limited Ltd@gmail.com. We will take the first five email, and I will send the names to Steph, and she would call out your name next week to present. Point taken with regards to videos, so we will look into that. There's a reason why it's taking that, it would take that long, but we will see what we can do in terms of putting it up on the website. And lastly, user ID, username, we've gone on and on about it. Please send your username. 2 things to do. First one, your username only to hello@Saidi, I can't pronounce that, Saidia.org. That is just username only. But you would then send your username and your full names to Course for Children Limited@gmail.com. And this is so that we can also prepare certificates for you, and certificates for both is subject to attendance. So certificate from Course for Children subject to attending all 3 sessions, and with for CD, sorry again, Steph, I keep missing that. It's certificates to show that you have actually participated with that game. So I would advise that you, after this session, you go and just give it a go. Yeah, give it a go. But yeah, that's enough for me for today. I want to thank you once again for joining in, and we continue with our second lesson next week, Saturday at 12 p.m. until 2 p.m. Until then, I think what I would just say is thank you, Steph, once again. And if you can show your love, if you want to unmute yourself, if you want to send messages in the chat box just to thank Steph for taking time to put this together. Thank you, Steph. See you next week.
Thank you all.